welcome back. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, I just thought since I've started this fairly recently and I've been in Glasgow for 9 months now, because I came in August, so do the math. So I just thought I could share some of the books that I've gotten recently, but at least being from America and the UK, I've met a bunch of different books that I wouldn't have gotten unless I came here. So I just want to share that. The first bit are these little more essay short story books. They're the Penguin Moderns, and I really enjoy them because if you want to read something but you don't have all the time, or you just want to feel productive, they're very nice. But you can just sort of get ones that are interesting to you and then go from there. So I got Audre Lorde, The Master's Tools to Never Dismantle the Master's House, The Africa's Tarnished Name, Fame, Communist Manifesto, because I should read it for myself, and then We Should All Be Feminists, and then these last two are short stories, but it's The Machine Stops, and then Sally Rooney's Mr. Salary. Yeah, so they're anywhere from 33 to 70 pages, and they're mainly interesting topics, and they're penguins. For penguin books, that's a plus. So those are very nice. I've read a couple, Notes on Camp. We love her. So the next couple that I've gotten is Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories by Tim Burton, so obviously gonna enjoy it. I found this at a charity shop, so if you can, try to buy books secondhand and everything. I know it's harder now with everything more closed and online, but once they reopen, Albert Camus' The Fall, and then The Day of the Trifles, Triffids. I just got these when I was out, and they both just seem very interesting. Yeah, it says The Fall is a brilliant portrayal of a man who has lost his innocence and glimpsed the emptiness of his life, yet is happy to die. I also want to get more into Albert Camus, so this should be a nice little short story to get there. And then The Day of the Triffids, it's when Bill Mason wakes up blindfolded in hospital. There is a bitter irony to his situation. Carefully removing his bandages, he realizes that he's the only person who can see. Everyone else, doctors and patients alike, have been blinded by a meteor shower. Now, with civilization and chaos, the Triffids, huge, venomous, large-rooted plants able to walk, feeding on human flesh, can have their day. So we love a little bit sci-fi, and I think it's more of a British book, but it should be fun. More of Cold War, post World War II, fear with science and everything changing, so that should be fun. And then for Christmas, I got a couple books. This is one of them from one of my roomie's mom. It's Never About Neil Gaiman. So I haven't read it, but people love Neil Gaiman. I want to get more into him, and she loved this book, so we're gonna give this a try. These next two I kept seeing online, and I just couldn't get them out of my head. So it was I Will Not Be Erased, Our Stories About Growing Up as People of Color, and I believe it's set in Britain, or I don't really know, but at least it's just people's stories. So I'm really interested to read this because I want to decolonize just everything what I read, and just be more conscious of what I'm consuming, not just consuming stuff just to consume them or just because everyone else is. I want to be why am I choosing to read a book? It's because it's what I'm used to, what's familiar, or do I actually genuinely want to read it, So I feel this could be a good step in that direction. The other book is The Uninhabitable Earth, because I read a couple books on climate change, and they're all hella scary, just stressful, because me as one person, what can I do? But it's such a big thing that we all should be working towards it. So I've heard that this book, it's more of a positive spin on it, not that climate change isn't real, but it's just there's still time. It gives you more of a hope than more of a dread, so that should be fun. And I thought it was gonna be really thick. It's not, so that's fun. And then my friend is letting me borrow this, but it's American Gods by Neil Gaiman. So this should be fun because I've always looked at the show and be oh, that seems interesting, but there's a book, so I'd probably read the book first. So I've been in this wish-wash, either or, which one should I do first? So finally she has the book and she let me read it. And it's a series, so that's interesting. So I'm really excited for this. And if you've read it before, like, let me know how you find it and if the series is worth it, because if they're all really big like this book is, I want to know if it's like worth the time. Okay, and then the next one, it's Homo Aurelius. It's by Andre Aciman, and it's just more of his essays, because I liked a bunch of his other works, not just like Call Me by Your Name and Find Me. So I'm excited to read more of his essays, because I did like Ibis in his other collections. So if you've read this, let me know what you think of it. If not, I can let you know. But yeah, so I'm really excited for this. This keeps me going through the year, knowing I have a book like this and a couple of these other ones that I could read once like stuff calms down a bit more. The next one is On Language by Noam Chomsky. We studied him a little bit in psych, so I'm really excited to see his more essays, even though I don't really like his take on language. I'm just wondering if there's more that would make sense, because typically you like parts of someone's ideas but not the whole thing, or how they explain all of it but you like part of it. So I'm excited to see which parts I actually do like and dislike, and just get to more into the field of like psychology and language and how those interact and different people thoughts, because he is a big player in the whole field. So it would be interesting to see his actual works said by him, not just people paraphrasing. There's a lot of people that seems to like always like what he says and stuff, and I know he's like sort of everywhere. So that would be interesting to see with this book. And then another book I got for Christmas was The Worlds of J.R.R. Tolkien and the Places That Inspired Middle-earth, because sometimes there's only so many times you can read his books without going insane a little bit. So it will take like artwork and show it with the actual place, which is very fun, because because earlier last year I read a bibliography on Tolkien, and that was so much fun to see like his actual life and everything. So trying to get a thing like this, because I know he really drew on the places of where he grew up and like the nature of it before he moved into the city. I forget which one. So that should be interesting, because if you live a certain place, you could actually go visit the place that inspired it and everything. But also, you know, just to get his take on it would be more interesting. Even though it's not like written by him, they can only publish so many books from a dead person. But yeah, and then some of my friends back home, it's the Beckers again, but they have different like dictionaries or anthologies of just stuff relating to Lord of the Rings. So this would be interesting. I have one too. And then this is one my aunt got me, so I know nothing about it, but it's The Woman in White, and she said that she loved this book and she thought I might like it. I don't really know anything about it, which is almost the best place to be with a book, because you have no expectations or like ideas of it at all going into it. It's sometimes considered an early example of detective fiction with the hero employing many of the sleuthing techniques of later private detectives. So this should be fun, because I read The Awakening recently, and that was like one of the first like feminist fiction books. Yeah, so that was fun, but even though we've progressed so much as time's gone on, it's nice to see that like this is where it started and like how far we've progressed. So this should be fun when I have time. It's like really tiny writing, so I'm gonna need probably a good week or two just to read this, but I'm excited. And then the next one is A Traveler at the Gates of Wisdom. I don't really know, again, much about it, but I believe it's sort of like you follow this like family over like 2,000 years, and just how the past and influence the present and the future, and just over like 2,000 years from when it starts. I think it starts with these two sons, and they sort of like keep, like they're never fully like away from each other or done with each other. Like it keeps interacting, and the two different sides of the family have like different tendencies, sort of. So like one has violence in the blood, and the other one is more like artistry. So that would be interesting to see like the different, like to compare them against each other, you know, see how they go on throughout time. Yeah, so it just seems like a very nice, interesting concept for a novel, which I'm very excited to try to get into. And then again, because I want to get more into this, it's Bukowski. I know a little bit about him, but I still don't want to read his poetry for myself because a lot of people like him, but then other people have like critiques of him. So I just got to go in there for myself and actually like just decide what I think about him, you know? And hopefully at least enjoy like half of them. I don't feel like that's a really high bar to try to reach. But yeah, I mean, also Harry Styles does like Bukowski, so I'm gonna have to make an effort. We're living our best life over here. And then the last book I got recently was Out to the Gates of Eden. Again, it's sort of like counterculture and how like people who are influenced by it like live on later on. Like, because they get swept up into the whole like counterculture and like idealism that was really rampant in the 60s, and sort of like what happens if you just follow them like beyond the 60s. It just called to me. I don't know much about it besides the blurb on the back, so I can keep you updated once I do read it. But I'm just really excited because I do like the 60s and I don't want to like romanticize it or have a bunch of different like misconceptions about it going on. So hopefully this can shine a different light on it, and then I can just go from there with my opinion on it. But yeah, so if you want to let me know any book that you've got recently that you just love or that you like, that you would want other people to share, that you're just excited to read, let me know down below in the comments. If there's any other ideas you want me to do a video on or like similar to, like let me know again in the comments. You know, if any of these books interest you, let me know and I can go more into them. Just let me know and let's keep the conversation rolling. I appreciate every single one of you and I hope that you're doing well. You can try to do the whole thing of casual magic of like when I'm walking down to like the post office. I always pass this building. It's like old timey. I don't know what it was before, probably like houses or apartments, but I just love it, the sight of it. And whenever you see like a duck or a pigeon or just like an animal or anything, just stop and appreciate it, whether it's a flower or how the sky looks or, you know, how nice the weather is, or, you know, just try to like see like the magic in everyday things. Even if you pass it 1,000 times, just try to like appreciate it a bit more or see like the magic in it. And maybe you can send a text to someone to be like, oh, thinking of you, or hope you're doing well. Just try to send positive vibes out there. But yeah, so I guess I'll see you next time, and I hope in the meantime you stay groovy and that you're doing well.